Let's give our new president, Eric Fingerhut, a warm welcome.
I need to say thank you to all of you for the welcome you've given me. People have been coming up to me, stopping me, sending me notes to tell me their Hillel stories, to tell me how Hillel changed their lives, how the connection that they made while they were on campus gave them the leadership skills, gave them the ability to be connected to the Jewish world for their entire lives. All right, so tonight I want to do two things. First of all, I want to introduce myself to you a little bit because you need to get to know me. And secondly, I want to talk a little bit about why I know that the job we do together is without any question the most important job in the Jewish world and probably the most important job in the world. I'm a product of where I was raised and of then the people who've chosen to spend their lives with me. So I was raised in a loving Jewish home in what I modestly think is the best Jewish community in the world, Cleveland, Ohio. And then, of course, I'm the product of the family that I've been blessed to have as an adult. My wife, Amy, who's here with me tonight. We have two terrific sons. As I was accepted to Stanford, I'd really never been out of the Midwest in my life. I grew up in Cleveland, went to college in Chicago. I got to campus, threw my stuff, found my dorm, threw my stuff in, and started walking across campus. And I was heading towards the center of the campus, and I heard some singing. And I stopped to listen. And all of a sudden, I realized I was hearing Lecha Dodi in four-part, beautiful harmony. And so I followed the music, and I found myself at the door of the Hillel. And even though I was far away from home, farther than I'd ever been, I knew I was home. I've been a faculty member, I've been an administrator at universities, ultimately been the chancellor of the University System of Ohio. I spent my life in public service. I was an aide to a mayor, then a state senator, and then a congressman. And I spent my life around the Jewish community as a religious school teacher, a junior congregation leader, a youth group advisor, a Torah leader, a synagogue president, as a federation board member. So it truly is the case, as I said to many of you in the video, that I feel like my entire life has brought me to this moment, to join you here in the Hillel movement. I want to talk just a minute about what that professional life has taught me about leadership. There are some lessons from the work I did as chancellor that I believe are directly relevant to our work here at Hillel. As was mentioned, I was responsible for all the public universities and community colleges in Ohio, 14 public universities and 23 community colleges. Each school had its own president. Each school had its own board. Sound familiar? Each school had its own alumni association. Each school had its own faculty senate. And of course, each school believed that the issues that it faced were unique to that school and could only be resolved in its own way, uniquely on that campus. But here's the problem. The problem is any time that there was a challenge or there was an issue of controversy, the governor, the legislature, the press, the donors, the public, they would look to the chancellor's office and say, you've got to get involved. You've got to help solve the problem. You've got to find out what happened and help fix it. I decided that I would go to work every morning pretending like I had no power to order anybody to do anything whatsoever. All I had was the power to lead. Now think about what leadership means. Leadership involves offering your own ideas. Just as my work as chancellor required me to seek the right balance between the role of the central office and that of the campus leadership, so I will work with you as your president to build the most effective system operations for Hillel. I know a lot of good thought has been given to the right system design, to the relationship between the SIC and the campuses. We will never forget, and we should never forget, that the students are on the campuses, but the resources and expertise to serve them well reside in the community as a whole. Now, I want to emphasize this point of us working together between the SIC and the field, because if we can't work effectively together and build relationships throughout the community with our community partners, how can we expect to build meaningful relationships with students? We know we can't force anyone to walk in the doors of a Hillel or engage with a Hillel professional or student leader on a campus. For most of the students that we will be working with, their lives are predicated on free will. They are making choices for themselves. And that applies equally to their relationship with Judaism and with Hillel. It's a personal choice. But we have the power to lead, to encourage people to make the choice to engage, the choice to be a leader themselves, the choice to serve the campus and the community at large. The highest form of leadership is teaching. Power begets followers. Teaching creates leaders. Think about it. That's what we do. Richard Joel taught us and reminded us yet tonight that Hillel is fundamentally in the business of Jewish education. You taught me in this Jewish family, in this Jewish community, that the Jewish value is of service, to be of service. That to be a Jew means to be committed to building a just society. It means to be committed to looking out for the poor, the homeless, to care for those who need help. That's what it means to build a Jewish society, a society of tzedek, a society of justice, to give, to do acts of righteousness, gemilut chasadim. This is what it means to be a Jew. This is the Jewish call to service. And it's the call to service that I heard in my own life. Our young people today are more committed to a life of service than just about any other generation that we know. A life of service is increasingly the choice of our best and our brightest. So while I know that it's hard sometimes to build relationships with every Jewish student on campus, remember this. We've got what this generation wants, a connection to a life of service and a connection to a people of service, the Jewish people. Of course, Hillel the Elder, he was, and we know this, also a devoted ritual Jew as well. He also lived at a time when the presence of a Jewish homeland in Israel was a central fact of Jewish life, even as there was at that time also a robust and active Jewish diaspora. Today, 2,000 years later, we are blessed once again to have a sovereign Jewish homeland as a central fact of Jewish life, side by side with a Jewish diaspora that is even more far-flung and robust than in Hillel's time. And Hillel, as an organization, we serve as a home for the study and practice of these areas of Jewish life as well. Our programs of Jewish education and outreach, our commitment to birthright, and to bringing Israel Fellows to campus all speak to our commitment to bringing the full range of Jewish life to students. These things, I promise you, we will do more of, and with ever greater commitment to constantly building the quality and quantity of our programs across the Hillel system. And as much as tonight is a celebration, it would be disingenuous if I didn't acknowledge that sometimes our work in these areas of service exposes the differences and the disagreements among Jews. Let me say briefly that whatever challenges we must meet on the campus, we will be guided by the principle of Am Echad, one nation, one people, one future. Hillel is a uniting force. If we help shape the next generation of Jewish leaders to understand and believe we are one people with one sacred mission, then we will deserve our place as the organization that is the most responsible for building the Jewish future. And so I love Jewish pluralism, and I embrace it, and I will celebrate and pray with you in any Jewish setting, traditional or liberal, new or old. And we'll sing and pray in Hebrew and English and Spanish and German and Russian and Portuguese, and I hope soon in many other languages as well. And I delight in our global reach. It represents everything we want to be as an organization. One that transcends difference, one that draws strength from diversity, one that sees our mission as a global mission. Being a global organization is essential to serving the Jewish people as Hillel enters its 10th decade. And so I want to say a special welcome to our global Hillel directors, those who are here and those who will hopefully get to watch this on the internet. And we also all know that there is the special and sacred obligation we have to Medinat Yisrael, the state of Israel, and Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, and to the challenges that we all acknowledge that come with that sacred obligation. To be a Jewish organization means to love Israel. Ahavat Yisrael. It's a core value for Jews. Hillel loves Israel. We help connect students to Israel by serving as the biggest source of birthright participants. We welcome Israel Fellows to create high-quality Israel education programs. Israel programs help add energy to campus Jewish life. But we also understand that Israel is a modern nation, and it's not perfect. If you don't agree, just ask an Israeli. Look, I love my country, the United States of America. I love it even when it does something I disagree with. We love Israel. We pray for it, even when we wish it did things differently. The word Israel literally means to wrestle, to struggle. And so to love Israel means to struggle. How do we resolve the inherent challenges of being a Jewish state in a dangerous place? Reconcile the rights of minorities. Make it a place where Jews, all Jews, can worship in the style and manner they prefer. Everyone in the Jewish community has to deal with the issue of how to engage with the questions of Israel. If a room full of Jews anywhere in the Jewish community has a hard time holding discussions about Israel, how much more difficult is it going to be on a campus? You know what a campus is. It's the place where everybody comes to stir controversy. It's fertile ground for debate. So our challenge is difficult, but we have to make it work. We have to make it work. We owe it to our students to help them find their own way. We know our students need to struggle with these issues themselves, and we know they should never be denied the right to struggle. And what that means to me is that Hillel on every campus must be open to everything that flows from a love of Israel, struggle and all. But this too must be the case. We will not be open to those who would destroy what we love. There are plenty of places for Israel's fiercest enemies to make their case, both off campus and on. Hillel must not be one of them. But remember this, one of the reasons we're in this work together is to help each other navigate those moments, to think through the most challenging situations, to help each other demonstrate the enduring values of Hillel, to inspire leadership, to engage, and most of all, as we've already talked about, to teach. We are stronger together than we are individually, and what we do individually affects us collectively. What one Hillel does or does not do reflects on all of us. All of us. Many voices, many ideas, many identities, but still part of Am Echad, one people, one Hillel. I need your experience, and I need it urgently, and I need it now, because we don't have any time to waste. Let's go do it. Let's enjoy the rest of the evening together. I can't wait to work with you. Thank you for being here.